Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to ICMK. So, we were invited to the closed beta for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, and yeah, we're gonna let you know what our impressions are of it. We got to play, somewhere about 8 to 10 hours overall during the beta. Wish we could got to play more, but it is what it is. With all the weird timing and certain time sessions that they had, made it difficult to really get a lot more playtime in. But I feel like we got a good understanding and general gist of what to expect when the game eventually comes out next year. So let's see where to start. Let's just start with the gameplay. With the auto combos and the simplified inputs for specials and stuff, I was worried that was going to make the game feel too simplistic. I'm familiar with other Arc System Works games. For example, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus is a game that I don't dislike, but I do feel like it's too simplistic overall with the meta and everything, and just how it plays and whatnot. And I was worried that was going to could be a problem with Marvel Tokon. Even though it has auto combos and simplified inputs, the assist system and the tag system itself actually feels like it really adds those layers of depth and complexity, that even though everything's simple to control and has simple inputs compared to other fighting games, that depth isn't sacrificed because of the assist and tag system that there is, and that it's a 4 versus 4. If this game was only 2v2 with these mechanics, I think maybe it wouldn't have that same amount of depth and complexity. Because it's a 4v4 game, that as well contributes to the overall depth and complexity of the entire mechanic system of this game. And it actually all feels really good. Everything flows well together, it feels like, at least for the most part. Things can get maybe a little chaotic. The only time it feels like not super flowing well together is at times when you're throwing out multiple assists and maybe you're trying to get, actually tag to one of them. The timing can feel a little funky at times, but with time, I think there is like a deliberate timing with it when you actually do the tag. So I think with time, it's just something you got to get more used to. It's just more difficult. It's not really that difficult when you just do one assist and then you tag them in. It's more like when you're doing multiple assists out at the same time, things can get a little crazy there. But that's just where, figuring out your team and knowing what you're doing exactly, and just repetition of it, I'm sure everyone will be fine doing whatever they're trying to do, tag out or some cool combo off of a 2-3 person assist or something. Overall, though, it all feels very like it flows well together. The stage transitions, the tagging, I feel like does work pretty well. The assists flow very well. You like that it doesn't restrict your movement when you're doing assists. What type of assist you have and stuff are like pretty well defined for the most part, and so despite what character you have in what position, you kind of know what to expect. It's only that fourth position that has the most variety, it feels like. But in that first position, you're gonna have like a projectile or charge type moves. In the third position, you're gonna have the basically anti-air type moves, and in the fourth position it's going to be more of like a variety, like Captain America. He uses his shield, so it's like he uses his gimmick. But other characters, they might use like a certain special, like Iron Man. He does his smart bomb special move when he's in the 4th position. He doesn't necessarily use his gimmick, which is his pulse shots. But anyways, all in all, feels pretty good. Even I think that it's a huge success on how they've designed the mechanics, because my 3-year-old and my 6-year-old, they can play the game and they can actually execute combos because it's easy to do. It's that easy to do that literally a 3-year-old can execute combos on another human being that's a teenager or an adult. Because my 3-year-old played against a couple people online and stuff, and he didn't beat anybody, but he was able to do damage at least, you know what I mean? So it has the simplicity there, and like so easy to play that even a toddler can play it and have fun. But it has at the same time, it has the depth and it has the complexity for combos and whatnot, more advanced combos and stuff. That's there for more advanced, actual higher level players. So it's kind of like, it feels, at least my first impression, it feels like a great joining of, like a perfect joining of simplicity and depth. And what's really cool with the simple inputs is that they don't seem to be like Street Fighter in the modern controls in Street Fighter 6, where you actually have less of a moveset and whatnot. You actually have access to all your different variations of the different moves and whatnot. You're able to do everything with simple inputs. But you also have the more classic traditional style of inputs at the same time that you can do. So you just do either or. I found myself in the heat of moment of times going back and forth. At times I'd use simple input in certain situations. At times I would probably just because my natural instincts, I would do traditional inputs on stuff. So both of them worked well, and there actually didn't seem to be any damage difference from what I tested. I couldn't tell there being a difference between using a simple input and not using a simple input. There didn't seem to be any difference in the damage, so I don't, at least from what I could tell, you could correct me if I'm wrong, please do in the comments, but from what I could tell, at least in this beta, there seems to be no negative reason to use simple inputs. So the game, so I'm thinking for a high level play, that's probably going to be commonly used, if that's how things are going to be. If it is truly just the same damage, no difference, a lot of people, I imagine, are going to be using simple inputs, and it's just what it is. Despite, I don't know what my opinions. I like complexity. I think the more simple you make something, the lower you lower the bar, the skill bar. The more complex something is, the higher the skill bar is. And the standard skill bar for fighting games is at a high level. I feel like this could potentially, the skill bar for Marvel Tokon could be lower than other fighting games generally are. But I think that's definitely going to be you got the complexity, and the depth is still there to have a difference between a high level player, like a true high level player, and just like, oh, this guy's advanced pretty good, or and this guy's like, oh, they suck, you know. So it's all there. All in all, everyone in this beta felt pretty good. We had Captain America, Miss Marvel, Iron Man, Storm, Doctor Doom, and Star-Lord. And everyone in the game in this beta, the way they played and stuff, they all felt distinguishedly different. They each felt interesting, and they each felt fun. Makes me look forward to more characters and seeing who else is going to be in this game in the future. All in all, a thumbs up on the gameplay and the design on how everything works. I think it's going to be really a big hit. I think this game's going to be a big hit because it's truly a fighting game for everyone. It plays so well. Everything in it, for the most part, is really smooth with how the mechanics work and whatnot. Even though there is a lot of different mechanics in the game, the simplicity of it makes it all flow well together and easy to understand and easier to play than it may first seem like on the surface level at first. But yeah, there's a lot to this game that I think that they're really onto something here. And the most important thing is that it's fun. Overall, it plays well, works well, designed well, and it's fun. So, but let's move on to the negative part of the beta. So, I want to discuss that the online lobby system, even though I do like it, I like that they have an online lobby system. I like how the lobby looks and stuff. It's cool, but I really hope by the end of my last session, I was really frustrated with the lobby system and stuff, and I was really found myself like really hoping in the final game that this isn't it. I hope we're not forced to only use this lobby system for matchmaking to get online matches in the final game. I hope they have like a general matchmaking search, because this lobby system, even though it is cool, it's not the greatest. First off, there's confusion on how it even works. You have these arcade systems set up back to back to each other. You join one, and by just joining one, you're put into the queue. Where you're in this queue, you could be matched up to somebody else that's on another arcade machine, say across the lobby, for example. You could be matched up against them because you're both put into just by being on the machine, you're put into the matchmaking queue. But that's just for the lobby, for one thing. Put into the matchmaking queue for the lobby, which is max 64 people per lobby. Now, alternatively, instead of being matched up that way, you can have someone else directly challenge you by joining the arcade machine on the opposite side of you. Where the confusion is that most people, at least or maybe I won't say most, but a lot of people, it seemed like, didn't understand that that's how the matchmaking was working. They thought the only way it was working was that you had to join on the opposite side of somebody's machine there, and like directly challenge them. Like directly challenging them was the only way that it actually worked, which was not the case. But because of people not understanding that, and they'd be running around the lobbies trying to join up that way instead of just getting on a machine, sitting there being patient to get matched up with somebody, that made the experience frustrating to an extent where it took longer. It was more difficult and took longer to find new opponents to play against. Anytime I needed to find a new opponent, it always felt like it took way too long, because it always would turn into a hassle of me having to be like, hey, you want to play? Who wants to play? You want to play? Run around, find other person that's running around, be like, hey, follow me, come to this cabinet, and then we'd play. But that's only part of what made the lobby system experience frustrating. The other part is that for some reason I had a lot of problems connecting to a lot of people. There's a lot of people I was just unable to connect with and wasn't able to play with. Felt like maybe like half the people I tried playing with, I literally wasn't able to connect with because the game wouldn't let me. Thought maybe there could have been something wrong on my end, but as far as I could tell, I checked everything out, and as far as I could tell, everything seemed fine on my end. So I'm pretty sure it was just the game. So even though I was playing in the proper region and trying to play against other people that I assume are also playing in the proper region, I had a lot of problems connecting with people. However, those that I was able to connect with and play with, besides for like 2 different opponents, everybody, all the games played smooth, played great. The rollback netcode seemed really good. It was only 2 opponents that I had, 2 different opponents that I had any lag issues. One of them was only slight lag. The other was bad enough lag that I was like, yeah, I'm done. I don't want to play this guy another game. But I found it very unfortunate how many different people I wasn't able to connect with, and it makes me wonder if there's going to be an issue with this game in the tournament scene online. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we won't have so many connection issues. Maybe they will be able to more openly connect with more people than I was able to in the beta when the final game comes out. So wait and see. But all those I was able to connect with, for the most part, totally fine. Ran smooth, was great. But yeah, I'm because of the connection unable to connect with so many different people, and because of people not understanding how the lobby system worked exactly, in full at least, then that made finding new opponents take so long at times, it would seem. And with such a limited time with this beta, it's, a half hour could go by and I only got to fight 1 opponent. That's what I'm talking about. Like a half hour gone by and I only played 1, maybe 2 people, because I'm having so much trouble in between opponents getting another match. And you try going to different lobbies and try, talking to people, try this and that. You try just sitting there and waiting, being patient. It's just, it got frustrating how long it would take. And so they really better have a general matchmaking search, because if it's only this in the final game, that could be a potential issue. And regardless of this being Marvel and how well the game actually does play, and how even a 3-year-old can even play it and have fun, I have a hard time imagining this game failing in any degree. But it's going to, I'm worried that it could have some online issues related to how the online is designed with the matchmaking. If it doesn't have a general, it just needs a general matchmaking search. If it doesn't have one and we're stuck with just the lobby system, I think that's going to have pose a problem. And I'm worried about how touchy the game is at the moment, at least how touchy it seems to be with me, on who it will let you connect with, even with people supposedly in your own region. That is kind of a red flag, though that was only like half the time, I feel like I would say. The other half the time I connected with people just fine and had no problems with lag or anything with the rollback netcode, and played really smooth and great. But yeah, I'm going to cut it here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and yeah, we'll catch you next time here on ICMK.